Now I'm going to show you the second of two special bar charts that are available in Microsoft Excel. This one is called the side-by-side bar chart. For this side-by-side bar chart, we are using the Dog Toys dataset, which is available on the first tab of the Visualizing Variables Week 4 Excel spreadsheet. That spreadsheet is available in class and also through a link in the description for this video. Let's start by taking a look at the dataset, and then I'll show you how to create the side-by-side bar chart. Here we see the raw data that we will be using, and for this example, we're going to use the side-by-side tab. Now this is our starting point. We'll put our pivot table right here, but you can also see the ending in this tab, where we see the pivot table and what our side-by-side bar chart is ultimately going to look like. Let's go back to that side-by-side tab and increase so we can see it a little bit easier. There we go. For convenience, I've put all of our variables here in these first three columns, and we are ready to start with this side-by-side bar chart. Creating a side-by-side bar chart is going to require creating a pivot table first. Let's do that. I can click anywhere within the data available for this and go to the Insert tab. Pivot table is right here in the upper left. Click once. I need to confirm the range of the data. It's going to be A1 through C51, and that's exactly right. And I would like to put this pivot table in my existing worksheet. I'm going to drop it right here in cell F3. And once I've selected that cell, I can click OK. This shows me where the pivot table will ultimately reside, but first I have to tell Excel where these data points are going to go. I can go to dog breed and drag that into rows. I'll put days to fail into the columns. I'm going to drag dog down here into the values. As I've had to do so many times, for sum, I want to change this by clicking on the gray icon for information. And instead of summarizing by summation, I'm going to use count. I also want to show my data as the percent of row total. And I can click OK. Now I see the pivot table for this side-by-side bar chart. Once the pivot table is complete, I'm ready to create the side-by-side bar chart, which I'm going to do using the Insert function. I will begin by clicking on some data inside of this pivot table and then going to the Insert tab in the ribbon. Among the chart options for columns, I have this first option, which is the clustered column. Click once, and there is my side-by-side bar chart. However, as we have with previous examples, we want to change these bar colors to either a grayscale or a blue or something that doesn't have nearly as much color for our APA style. I'm going to go now to the Design tab and choose Change Colors. I could use a grayscale, or in this case, I'll use that monochromatic blue that I've used before. And how would I interpret this side-by-side bar chart? What I can tell is that the bars represent the counts within each category of days to fail. For instance, 1 to 5 days to fail is represented by the darkest blue bar. Among the Chihuahuas, we see a tall bar for the 1 to 5 days to fail. We see a shorter bar for the fuzzy dogs and a medium bar, actually no bar, for the retrievers. So we don't see that category, which would exist right here. For the second level, there, which would be the 6 to 10 days to fail, we see that a little shorter with the Chihuahuas and longer for the fuzzy dogs. And then the retrievers are represented in the 6 to 10, the 11 to 15, and 16 to 20 day bar charts. So what this tells us is that Chihuahuas are overrepresented in the chewing up your toy quickly category, whereas retrievers tend to hold on to their toys a little bit longer. We create these bar charts using exactly the same data, which means that we can actually switch from one type of bar chart to another. So let me show you one more way of creating the side-by-side bar chart using the stacked bar chart that we created in that previous video. So for this, I'm going to go to the stacked bar chart. This is the bar chart that we created previously. And what I'm going to do is change the chart type. So again, this is in the Design tab in the ribbon, and I see Change Chart Type. I'm going to change it to this clustered column. And now we have something that doesn't look like the example that I've just shown you. That is because the order of the variables has been switched. So what I'm going to do is go to Switch Row and Column, click, and that looks a whole lot more familiar. I'm using the same data points and representing them slightly differently. I can change to other chart types that are available. I can experiment with these to see which one display my data for the best. And that is how you create a side-by-side bar chart or develop one from your stacked bar chart using Microsoft Excel.